Okay, this is it. This is the end of 2019. This is the last possible moment that I can make this video. So I'm going to do a ranking of all the movies I saw in 2019. No one cares, I know, but I thought it'd be fun to do. A lot of people are putting out their top 10s, top 20s. Fuck that. I'm going to rank every single movie from 2019 that I saw, even shorts. Everything I saw in 2019 that was distributed in 2019. So some of these are 2018 releases for the festival circuit, but for all intents and purposes, they're 2019 movies. Let's see how fast I can do this. For those of you that are curious, real quick, by the way, this I usually have something playing next to me when I'm doing these segments. This is The Head. This is my movie that actually did premiere at a film festival and at a local bar this year, and is coming out very soon for your eyeball consumption. If you like shot on VHS horror movies, this might be for you. If you don't, it's not. Ignore it. So let's talk about all the films I saw. I saw 90 movies that were released in 2019. I honestly wish I could have seen more. Real quick, here are all the movies that I wish I had seen that I'm pretty sure would have made at least my top 20, but I just for some reason didn't get around to seeing them. I did have a baby this year. I also, again, made a movie. It's been very busy. So without further ado, let's talk through these 90 movies. So, starting at number 90, Dark Phoenix. If we're being totally objective, this isn't really the worst movie of the year. Its filmmaking on a technical level is competent, and there are some legitimately entertaining moments within it, but the problem is that there's few of them, and the changes made reportedly to distinguish itself from Captain Marvel are very poorly implemented and do little to serve the final film in the X-Men saga, which just ends in the same clusterfucky kind of way that it lived. Number 89, The Dark Within. This direct-to-video horror flick is, actually, I can't remember much about it. Something about family and like a demon living inside of a guy. It has very little merit, just ignore it. 88, Dolls. Another direct-to-video movie. The dolls aren't scary, and the filmmaking is bland as hell. Props for a good attempt at a father-daughter relationship, but points deducted for a criminal lack of Dee Wallace, whose name is on the fucking cover. Number 87, Shaft. Haha, we don't like millennials. They're dumb social justice warriors. Shaft is the film equivalent of that older uncle at Thanksgiving who thinks his liberal agenda jokes are still funny on the 15th go-around. Look, it's a Tim Story Shaft movie. It was never going to be good. Moving on. Number 89, Billy. This is a kind of consumerism-based short film. Very experimental. I saw it on Mubi. It was a little too experimental for my taste. Honestly, I'm kind of mad at myself for watching this instead of all the other great short films that come out on a yearly basis. But anyway, moving on. Number 85, The Wolf Hour. Naomi Watts is great. The cinematography is great. The direction is fine. The film itself is dull as hell and really does not provide a whole lot. It feels like a 14-minute short film that was made feature length. I saw this at Sundance. It made me want to fall asleep. Number 84, The Wandering Earth. Chinese propaganda, the movie is equal parts dumb as a rock and shockingly dull. 83, Seeds. Yikes. Just yikes. 82, Killer Man. Honestly, this would probably be much higher on the list if it weren't for the last 15 minutes or so. If there's one film in 2019 that shit the bed harder than any other at the last minute, it's Killer Man. Number 81, Don't Let Go. I actually saw this at Sundance, and so my memory is a little hazy, but there's very good filmmaking on display here, but the film itself is, on a whole, it feels like an okay episode of the new Twilight Zone. Number 80, Captive State. Most forgettable movie of the year. Hands down. This is another one with some great ideas and even a fascinating world that just never properly utilizes either. Number 79, Camp Wedding. Fun idea, middling execution. This is probably the first on this list I'd actually recommend because though it wasn't really for me, it could be your jam. Number 78, My Skin Luminous. Another short I saw on Mubi. Could have been much better, especially since its mix of fact and fiction treads some pretty creepy territory I would have liked to see more of. Instead, it does that thing that bugs the shit out of me, wherein the filmmakers felt that holding on the same dull shots for far too long somehow gave them more depth. Number 77, Wounds. Man, I wanted to love Wounds, and I'm actually going to recommend you watch it because I'm pretty sure I'm in the minority on this one. It really should be my jam, and even as I'm thinking back now, maybe I should rewatch it without a snickering bunch of Sundance assholes potentially ruining it for me. Plus, Armie Hammer is great. Either way, I love the ending, but it just didn't feel earned or properly placed for me. Again, mileage may vary, but for now, here's where it sits for me. Number 76, My Dad Wrote a Porno. Serviceable special that doesn't seem necessary. My Dad Wrote a Porno is a great podcast, but the translation to TV is just okay. And I may even be rating it a little high here, to be honest. Number 75, The Velocipaster. I'm eternally split on this one. It's a good time and there's a lot of great jokes in there, but it doesn't feel like it was left in the old Velociraptor Pastor hybrid oven long enough. Number 74, Rocko's Modern Life, Static Cling. Speaking of rating a little high, while it was nice to see Rocko and the gang back again, this is one of those movies that works best when replicating its old self and less well when implementing its political agenda. That's weird for me to say since I don't really have a problem with blatant politics. I mean, just look at my Black Christmas video, but in this case, it just wasn't implemented well for me. Luckily, it's still Rocko's Modern Life, so it's entertaining at the very least. Number 73, It Chapter 2. It is fine. Number 72, Terminator Dark Fate. I probably liked Dark Fate more than most people, and I'd love to see a sequel. I think it's genuinely the best Terminator movie since T2, but as we all know, that's not saying much. Mackenzie Davis, Natalie Reyes, and Gabriel Luna are all standouts, and the jokes almost all work, especially Carl, but the twists, they can all kind of be seen a mile away, and Linda Hamilton feels pretty superfluous. Anyway, this is a list, not a review, so moving on. Number 71, Velvet Buzzsaw. I liked Velvet Buzzsaw more than most. It is not a particularly good follow-up to Nightcrawler, but it is a fun, silly B-movie with a bunch of inexplicable star quality, and that's my jam, man. Number 70, Pokemon Detective Pikachu. I saw a lot of people calling this the top just fine movie of 2019, and yeah, it's fine. I do love the world that was built here, and I look forward to what the Pokemon Company comes up with next. Number 69, Child's Play. This update on Chucky is far better than it has any right to be. It's a shockingly heartfelt story about childhood and growing up, and Mark Hamill kills it with his Buddy song. Too bad about that third act, and well, the fact that it's a Child's Play movie without Don Mancini or Brad Dourif. Number 68, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. I love Fast and Furious, to the point that the films often at least hit my top 20 for the year. But this thing is a mess. An entertaining mess, sure, but ugh. Turns out, two great supporting characters don't make for the best leads, and the whole plot with Idris Elba is a total waste. Even the action isn't quite at the same level of quality despite being decent. I don't know, I still enjoyed myself in the theater, but at the end of the day, it's missing family. Number 67, Shakti. I don't have much to say here. It's a dramedy short about an Argentinian Jew that's pretty fun, and my first exposure to director Martin Reitman. Whatever. It made me interested in his other work, so congrats. Number 66, Rocket Man. Competent. That's the best word for Rocket Man. It's leagues better than Bohemian Rhapsody while still suffering from some of the same problems. The big pros are Taron Egerton, absolutely nailing it anytime I'm not meant to pretend he's ever been fat in his entire life, and some really fun musical fantasy numbers that really belong in this kind of film. Number 65, Guo4? Guo4? I don't know how to say this. Two naked men, they wrestle in a locker room. This one is actually still on Mubi and was directed by Peter Strickland, who also did In Fabric and Barbarian Sound Studio. It's about as subtle as puberty in its commentary on masculinity, but if you like La Jetée with penises, then this 3-minute flick is for you. Number 64, Captain Marvel. It was fine. I didn't dislike Captain Marvel, but I do think Brie Larson is a tad miscast, which would be fine if the rest of the movie could make up for it. Overall, it's definitely fun, and I like the twist with the Skrulls quite a bit, but I don't know, it just has that same bland Marvel thing turned up to 1000 at times. Oddly enough, I actually did like the choice of No Doubt's Just a Girl in the soundtrack, so maybe don't trust my taste 100%. Number 63, Black Christmas. I've already let my opinion be known on Black Christmas. It is a very good B-movie about rape culture that a lot of people just don't want to like, either because it's a PG-13 slasher remake or because, oh my god, those chicks hating men, man. Dumb reaction to a film that, while not phenomenal, is certainly worth your time, so long as you're not close-minded. Number 62, Six Underground. Fun, dumb Bay that feels a little inconsequential compared to his better work. I love Michael Bay movies, so your mileage may vary, of course. Number 61, The Kid Who Would Be King. Best King Arthur movie of the decade. There, I said it. Number 60, Fighting with My Family. Another one I saw at Sundance before I realized how much I love Florence Pugh and things. My pro wrestling fandom cut into this one a bit, unfortunately. Everyone involved does a great job, but having watched all of this unfold on TV makes a lot of the more WWE-intensive stuff ring false. Still, all of the actual family material is stellar, and I highly recommend this one for non-wrestling fans. Number 59, Happy Death Day to You. Lots of guff was given because this really isn't a horror movie, but I like that it takes the first film's fun, simple concept and completely flips it on its head. It kind of reminds me of Terminator. The first film is this dark slasher flick, and the second is a sci-fi action romp. It'd be cool to see what Blumhouse could do with a third film, but I suspect we won't be getting one, sadly. Number 58, Glass. It's Glass. It's not great, but it's not bad. It's Glass. I personally like the big twist alright, but it does feel a tad underwhelming once you step back and look at the whole picture. Still, much better than the haters give it credit for. Number 57, The Fanatic. One thing you'll notice with this list is that ratings and ranks don't necessarily go hand in hand. The Fanatic entertained me more than anything below it on this list, and while Travolta's performance is certainly problematic, I submit he actually puts on a tour de force of exploitation goodness. He fucking commits to this man with a mental illness that, for the sake of my own headcanon, is a totally new form of whatever the fuck his problem is supposed to be. It's too bad that the film itself is so silly and just kinda ends, because that little extra bump of madness would have done it good. As it stands, great Travolta performance in a middling thriller. Number 56, Medias Res. Full disclosure, I'm Twitter friends with writer Mike Delaney, so there might be some bias here, but Medias Res was a really solid Bay Area crime thriller. It's super, super, super low budget, so if that hurts the movie watching process for you, then, well, that's sad, but also this movie isn't for you. I think what I liked most about Medias Res is how colorful and committed to a style it is. It doesn't always work, and there are some serious audio issues sprinkled throughout, but I gotta give director Edwin Fernando Gonzalez and his crew props for pulling off what they did on such a low budget. Number 55, Villains. Fun but slight. This one is nothing new plot-wise, but succeeds in the wacky performance department. I was also very pleased with the finale. It just could have used a little, more. Number 54, Annabelle Comes Home. If you want a fun, silly ghost movie with equal parts frights and laughs, here you go. The biggest flaw here is that this sucker had to follow the glory of Annabelle creation, which, I wish that upon no man. Number 53, Danger God. Bit of a shabby documentary, it's not very well put together, but it is a super cool look into the life of a Hollywood stuntman. Number 52, After the Wedding. After the Wedding is an enjoyable drama and one of those remakes you can use in arguments next time someone says there are no good remakes. I had some problems here and there, especially with some of the ending actions, but overall it's a nice way to spend 2 hours. Number 51, Extremely Wicked, Shockingly Evil, and Vile. Go in not wanting gory violence and you'll probably enjoy this one. Also, you're not a crazy person. Number 50, Hellboy. Hellboy 2019 was good, silly fun. Fuck off. Number 49, The Lego Movie 2, the second part. Brainless fun with a good message for kids. I look forward to rewatching this one with my son one day. Number 48, The Inventor, Out for Blood in Silicon Valley. Bitch Be Cray, the movie, is a great look at the type of person who is ruining the world. I have a very strong hatred for these kinds of hustlers, so this documentary directly spoke to me. If you love hating douchebags, check it out. Number 47, Fire Fraud. This one is actually tied with The Inventor and deals with similar themes in a different industry. Douchebags, am I right? Number 46, Fire. One of the 2 Fyre Fest docs to come out this year of the douchebag. Fire ranks just slightly higher for me. It just Ring is more legit. I just think it's a better made documentary, very slightly. Number 45, Receiver. This is a lovely little short on Mubi about communication. Definitely watch it if you get the chance. Number 44, The Sound of Silence. Gotta be totally honest, I barely remember The Sound of Silence. It was a morning showing very late into our time at Sundance and I was exhausted. However, I remember really, really liking it, especially the sound design, which shockingly in this film about sound is a very central focus. I'll definitely have to revisit it someday. Number 43, Spider-Man Far From Home. Look, I love Spider-Man and I love Tom Holland and I love Jake Gyllenhaal. In fact, those last 2 almost make up for Far From Home's generous helping of flaws. Just put Spidey in a practical suit swinging around Manhattan. Come on. And why the fuck does this look so much worse than Amazing Spider-Man 2? Ugh. Either way, I did really like Far From Home, but it just doesn't quite work as well as it should. Maybe if I wasn't such a diehard Spidey fan, I could look past the usual Marvel issues, but they're just so right there. Also, dear Hollywood, stop it with the drones. You don't know how they work, and they're not intimidating, they're dumb and they're lazy. Number 42, Godzilla King of the Monsters. King of the Monsters was not quite the slam dunk I had wanted, but it's still a fucking great Godzilla movie. I love the Big G, and so this one gets bonus points for treating him so damn well. Number 41, Joker. We live in a society. And within that society, a lot of people love this perfectly fine Joker movie. And a lot of other people hate it because, well, incels, I guess? It was good. Hell, it was very good. Award-worthy? I wouldn't say so. Just because you can mimic Taxi Driver, The King of Comedy, and about a dozen artsy indie flicks, doesn't mean you deserve all the accolades. Joaquin is still the GOAT, though. Number 40, Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. It was pretty good. Number 39, Ad Astra. I actually had a mountain of problems with Ad Astra, but it's just too audacious to not put this high. I like the movies that are working on their own terms and don't seem to give a shit about audience expectations. Something about Brad Pitt being a total sociopath throughout this whole thing really hooked me. It's a weird flick, man. Number 38, The Report. Another Sundance viewing that I haven't watched since. Not only is Adam Driver his usual great self, but we get a very detailed look at why you shouldn't trust the government. Fight the power, man. Number 37, Aziz Ansari, Right Now. It's a good comedy special. That's all I got. Number 36, Late Night. I'm probably ranking this way too high, but I love this movie when I saw it at Sundance. I've heard a lot of folks say it's just okay, but in the moment I fell head over heels. I'm not sure why I was wearing heels, but hey, life's silly. Number 35, Desolate. One of the few direct-to-video movies I really enjoyed this year, Desolate is a gorgeous, simple film about a drought-stricken portion of the United States overrun by crime. It's an interesting world, full of flawed characters and odd details. Some of the characters are, let's say, not terribly smart, but that's a minor flaw in such a solid flick. Highly recommended. Number 34, Hail Satan? I'm of two minds on the Satanic Temple. On one hand, they get super cringy super fast. On the other hand, I love how hard they troll the government and all those Christian groups who can't fathom the point of what they're doing. The documentary focuses more on the latter aspect, but presents it all in a very solid, albeit rudimentary package. Hail Satan is on Hulu right now, so check it out. Number 33, Invader Zim, Enter the Florpus. I love Invader Zim, and this was everything I wanted in more of this iconic show that was canceled far too early in its run. Here's hoping for more. Number 32, El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. Another movie that's basically just one long episode of a show that it's based on, and is just as good. Simple, but exactly what I wanted. Number 31, Memory, The Origins of Alien. Hey, do you like Alien? You'll like this. Watch it. Number 30, John Mulaney and the Sack Lunch Bunch. Hey, you like John Mulaney? You like those old children's TV programs from the 70s through the 90s? Watch this. Number 29, Serenity. Okay, I know what you're going to say, but Michael, Serenity sucked, and you'd be correct in that. But it was also one of the most entertainingly bug-nuts movies I've seen in years, and as such it gets special treatment. Serenity is a bad film, but I co-wrote and co-directed Fatal Future, so this is 100% my jam. If you like bad, you'll like this. Number 28, Horror Noir, A History of Black Horror. It's a great documentary on black folks in horror. It's on Shudder. Watch it. Number 27, Crawl. Gators kill people and Barry Pepper is stuck in a crawl space. Academy Award for Best Picture seems really high with this one. Number 26, Ready or Not. I love me a simple concept executed to near perfection, and I love bonkers twists. Win-win. Number 25, I Am Mother. Like Ready or Not, this is a simple premise executed very well. The less you know going in, the better, but suffice it to say we get a lot of hard work on full display, a fantastic robot design, and some good old-fashioned sci-fi. I loved I Am Mother, and I can't wait to see what this team comes up with next. Number 24, The Lonely Island presents the unauthorized Bash Brothers experience. Technically, this is the best film of the year, but it's a short, so I'm placing it down here out of fairness. As a side note, if you haven't seen Popstar Never Stop, Never Stopping, you're in for a treat with that one as well. Check it out. Number 23, Anima. God damn. If this wasn't a glorified music video, it'd be so much higher. Fuck. It's beautiful. Just it's on Netflix. Watch it. It takes no time at all. Just watch it. Number 22, Shazam. You want quality DC superhero shows? This is how you do it, man. Shazam is further proof that indie horror directors should be given all the money in the world. Like that fucking conference room scene. God damn. Number 21, Guava Island. Hiro Murai is going to win an Academy Award one day. I fucking guarantee it. Also, Childish Gambino is great, and yada yada yada. Hiro Murai. I love this director. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait for more from him. And as always, Childish Gambino is just killing it. The great renditions of Childish Gambino's songs, the 16mm cinematography, everything in this just works so well. Number 20, Brittany Runs a Marathon. I'm a sucker for inspirational stories, and this is so incredibly human and relatable. I love it, and I highly recommend you watch it if you need that extra kick to get your life together. Number 19, Dr. Sleep. Give me that three-hour director's cut, man. Hooking into my goddamn veins. Number 18, Knives Out. This movie just hit $100 million at the box office, so you've probably seen it. It's not my favorite Rian Johnson joint, and you can see the final twist from space, but the initial twist is a very fun take on the murder mystery concept, and just like, look at all those fucking sweaters. Number 17, Cats. Okay, look, I know Cats shouldn't be here, but just like Serenity, it was a transcendental experience. If you want a better understanding, watch the video where I drink coffee with my wife and discuss this bizarre what the fuckery. It's a glorious misfire. Best film of Tom Hooper's career, easy. Number 16, Little Monsters. I had zero expectations going into this one. It's another Sundance screening, and it was my biggest fuck yeah moment of the festival. It's incredibly silly, but the characters just jump off the screen and make for one of the most enjoyable theater experiences of the year for me. Number 15, Alita Battle Angel. It was fucking rad, and anyone who didn't see it in theaters is a goddamn criminal. Buy the fucking Blu-ray. God damn it. Number 14, Bliss. If the characters in Bliss were slightly less LA douche, then Joe Bagos' little horror flick would be in my top 10. It just has such a phenomenal back half with probably my favorite kill of the year. Shot in glorious 16mm and with every dollar right there on the screen, Bliss is at the very least my favorite little indie flick of the year. It's not terribly original from a story perspective, but I dare you to try and find anything from 2019 that looks or feels quite like it. Damn fine entertainment. Number 13, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. It's John Wick. He kills a lot of people in some of the best action sequences of the decade. You saw it. I saw it. It was fucking great. Number 12, Avengers Endgame. It's Avengers Endgame. Number 11, Us. A lot of folks didn't like Jordan Peele's sophomore horror effort, and in a way I understand that. Us definitely feels like a less cohesive work than Get Out, but that in no way stops it from being a total roller coaster of bizarre, fun ideas, and just enough on-the-nose social commentary. The fact that it ends with one of the most outlandish final few moments of the year is just the cherry on top. And for the record, I actually kind of like it better than Get Out. Number 10, Climax. Oddly enough, this is the last film of 2019 that I watched, and while it technically came out in foreign markets in 2018, well, it came out in the US in 2019, so I'm counting it. Anyway, it's a non-stop assault on the senses by Gaspar Noé, and if that's your thing, then you'll have a hell of a good time. It's also far more playful than something like Irreversible, while still showcasing some truly macabre moments, and more accessible than, say, Enter the Void. It's about a bunch of dancers that get fucked up on acid-tainted sangria. Just watch it. Number 9, Dolomite Is My Name. I have no good reason for Dolomite Is My Name being this high other than the fact that I love Rudy Ray Moore's aesthetic, and I found this to be like a more lighthearted Ed Wood, which makes sense on account of these films sharing the same writers. Eddie Murphy is electrifying as Moore, and it's the kind of film as a whole that just makes me want to go out and make more movies. Number 8, Marriage Story. Sad, funny, heartbreaking, and life-affirming. Marriage Story really shouldn't be my cup of tea. After all, it's about two rich white artists getting a divorce. That's the plot, and I was trepidatious. And then I started watching and absolutely fell in love with Noah Baumbach's lifelike direction and neat, often bright cinematography from Robbie Ryan, who's quickly becoming one of my favorite DPs. Number 7, Booksmart. Olivia Wilde directed one of the best movies of the year? Fuck yeah, she did. This story of two high school seniors trying to have one hurrah, not one last hurrah, just one hurrah, before leaving for their new post-high school lives is equal measures fun, heartfelt, and hilarious. Billy Lord is my spirit animal in this film. I loved every moment and have even gone back to rewatch on Hulu, and it's still amazing. Number 6, Midsommar. Ari Aster's follow-up to Hereditary has been just about as controversial as Jordan Peele's Us. No one can agree on which film from Aster is better, and well, ¿por qué no los dos? I don't speak Spanish. Brass tacks, it's Wicker Man for the modern era, and I'm just gonna say it, Midsommar is better. It's a disturbing horror film lit primarily by blinding daylight and features a cohesive tale of female empowerment through family. Also, human sacrifice. Number 5, The Lighthouse. Robert Pattinson jerks off like 30 times, and I'm pretty sure that Willem Dafoe is going steady with a large light bulb. Basically, perfect cinema. Number 4, The Irishman. The Irishman is 3.5 hours of Scorsese reminiscing about death while subverting what we think of as the cool gangster. It's utterly depressing, shocking, and at times even manic fun in that way that only a Scorsese crime flick can muster. I can't say I loved a whole lot of the de-aging, and it was frankly super distracting at times watching supposed 30-somethings with old man bodies, but I'm not going to let a little wonky CGI ruin a great story from one of our greatest storytellers. Number 3, Uncut Gems. Holy shit. Uncut Gems is a 2-hour panic attack, and I loved every goddamn moment of it. This one is still in theaters at the time of this video going up, and you owe it to yourself to see it now. Seriously, who gives a shit about my top 2 movies? Fuck off and go watch Uncut Gems. Number 2, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Look, I know it's like a film bro cliche to put Tarantino in your top films of the year, but here it is. Honestly, any of the last 8 movies could sit comfortably in this spot, but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood just took me to a reverential place. I love movies, and this movie loves movies, and the bitter pill that the finale forces you to swallow is the kind of crazy bullshit I seek out in my cinema. And number 1, Parasite. Parasite is one of those films I honestly can't find a single flaw in. It's a perfectly crafted, balls-to-the-wall crazy flick about class struggles, written and directed by a director who knows these people down to a seemingly cellular level. You want finely crafted social satire? Parasite. You want a film expertly crafted by a master of the medium? Parasite. You want my favorite movie of 2019? Parasite. And that is my 90 films that I saw in 2019, ranked from worst to best. That's all I got. If you disagree, let me know. If you agree, let me know. If you want to, I don't know, say something else. You want to advertise a product because you're a spam bot, please do so in the comments below. And until next time, later, buckaroos.